everyone, and welcome back to my vlog. As you can see on the screen here today, we got these flyby flea traps. Now, the reason why I'm going to talk about this is because I've actually got a couple of these, and I'm going to tell you the pros and cons. The pro is they work very, very well, and if you have cats or a rabbit that lives indoors, outdoors, or a dog, you're going to find that fleas are attracted to them, and they're going to bring them in. Now, they get into your carpets, they get into, get into you, given half a chance, get in your bed, given half a chance. And so these flea traps are a great way of, rather than spraying, powdering, putting chemicals on your cat, which is, if you find that's the way forward, that's the way forward for you. But I don't like doing that too often on my cats. I don't like every month putting a droplets type thing onto the backs of the necks, and they don't like me doing it to them either. So I thought, well, I'm going to invest in a couple of these, $26.99, and give them a go. Now, when they come in, they're great. They're as what they say. They got bulbs, and the bulbs they're like this. I think it's 15 watt bulbs, 240 volts. Oh, that's a insulator, but a mica. And but the problem being with these is, one, they're expensive. 3 of them for £10, and 2 is, if you knock it, I mean, they don't last very long anyway. I think the longest I got out of mine was about a month. All right, but if it's on and you knock it, they're the old style filament, like Edison. And if you knock it, that's it. I've walked past one before, just clipped it with my foot, the actual trap, when it's been on the floor, and it's just killed the bulb. Like I say, 3 for a tenner, expensive, and that's not the way forward. So I thought, well, what can I do about this? Because the actual trap thing works brilliantly, and I'll show you how brilliantly it works. So a couple of weeks ago, I swapped out the old pad that was in the bottom, and I put another one in. And this is 2 weeks. All right, I could probably say it's just under 2 weeks, actually. It's about a full week and 5 days. That's what I got. And I didn't even think I'd got fleas in here. I treated the cats. I hadn't been bitten myself. I hadn't really seen them going at themselves. But apart from the big one that spends a lot of time sat out in the garden. He does a little bit, but he picks up bugs on him anyway, and I've got a comb. I use this flea comb, and the bugs are so easy to crush, I know that they're not fleas. So I didn't actually realise I'd got fleas in my home. And like I say, within 2 weeks, this is what I've got. Now, give it another 2 weeks and one of these bulbs would have to be replaced, and that's just over £3. Like I say, they're about £10 for 3 of them. And I don't see that as being the sensible way of going forward. And it's 240 volts as well. Right. So what I did with mine, and what I'm going to show you is, and I've been using this now for a good while, and I know that it works, is, one, you can reduce the price of your flea mats or trap pads, whatever it is you want to call these things. You can reduce the price of these by just buying generic ones. The round circle ones, and the generic, they don't quite fit as great as the other ones. You have to push it in, but that doesn't really matter. Now, one of these sides, this side, is peelable. Okay, it's the other side. It's peelable, right? You can see this kind of, it's peelable. All right, and I'm just going to put that back for a minute. And what you do is you just pull that off. You bend that, because you want to fit this in here and just push it in so it's nice and solidly in. Yeah, and then you can just, when you've already partial peeled it, it's a bit of a bugger trying to do it when it's in there, but where you've popped like I say, it's a bit of a bit of a bugger. Where you've partial peeled it, yeah, get it in, because if you put your fingers on it, all you're going to do is you're going to stick to this thing, because it's very, very sticky. And yeah, you're going to find you just keep pulling it up and you get annoyed with it because it does that. But anyway, once that's in, you can put your finger on the inside of it and just pull this off. We'll just leave that for a second. Excuse my coughing. I've still got this cough. It's over 5 weeks now. And right, let's look at what I did to this. Now, this is pretty raw. It doesn't have to be anything brilliantly special. I've used a stop and tail bulb from a car. It's 12 volts, you know, and it will fit in here quite nicely. There's a, just on the wire, there's a cable tie, but I can, ooh, it's a bit stiff to pull it, but I can just pull it down and off just to show you this. So, and that's all I've done. Look. You can see that, can't you? Let me try and get rid of that. Gotta get rid of that blooming. I don't like the. I can see the flashing of the lights. So there's something to do with the mix of the sun and that, because it doesn't normally do that, does it? I've had this lamp for so long. Anyway, so there we go. It doesn't even matter what polarity they are. You just want to make sure that you get a connection on one part of the bulb. I've done mine so it comes on to the tail part, because that's the part that would normally be on for longer. And I just pull it into the hole here, because the bit of what you get with this is to fit the 240 bulb. And so I just unscrewed that, taken it out, and just used the rest of the fitting. I've literally just done a cable tie there to stop the bulb from falling down, and it fits in there quite nicely, and that's it. Perfect, right? And in order to make it more efficient, rather than use 15 watts, I've got a switch mode power supply here. So it's the cheapest you know, form. It's not linear, it's switch mode, and this uses about 4 watts. I can't actually show you that because the app on my phone, which I'm using to record this, is where I get that measurement from. And how do I get that measurement? And this is the other thing about these as well, is turn it on at dusk. Yeah, I used to leave mine until I went to bed and then I'd switch it on, right? But I wasn't catching so much. But when you turn it on in dusk, because if you look up how a flea does its business, it gets up at like dusk and goes out shopping and doing what it does. A flea goes out hunting, shopping. I don't know what they do, right? But they get up. That's what time they start becoming active at that time. So I got one of these. I mean, I got a whole bunch of them, but I'm using one of these Green Sun, this particular one that I use, and it has a free app for your phone. And not only can you set it so at dusk and dawn, according to the times from the internet, it must pick it up because it's wireless, you know, and it does it for itself. Then it will switch it on and switch it off. So, you know, when the sun goes down, it turns it on. When the sun comes up, it turns it off again. Brilliant, right? So you don't even have to think about it. You just got to think about where you're going to put it. And it uses 4 watts because it tells me there's got an energy monitor on there as well. You can actually put in the price that you pay your tariff, you know, if it's like 23p, 24p a unit. I think in this country it's about £7 a kilowatt now. I don't know, they're just trying to rip us off left, right and centre. No, it's probably about 25p a unit, but that's still a rip-off. But never mind. They've got to build up their big infrastructure somehow, and we've got to pay for it, and then pay for it again. So yeah, and this will let you know. You know, you can buy any automated one that you like. I use this one, this particular brand. It works for me. I've had, I think, about 16 of them, and only one's failed. And I think that was the one that was on the microwave. So, you know, I can't say it's 100%, but they do for me, and the ones I've got still work, and I've had them for like 2 years now over. And this is what I use, and I call it Flea Trap, and it's set to come on and go off. 12 volt, 3 amp, doesn't matter about the polarity. and it's just the wall wart, you know, the plug adapter thing, switch mode power supply that I had. If I got one for 2 amps, I'd have probably put that in, but I used one 3 amps. I did use a linear one first at 10 volts, 1.2 amps. I used to get really hot. I mean, toasty hot. You couldn't, once you've been on for an hour, you put your hand on it, it'd be like, whoa, you know, that's a radiator hot, and that means you're emitting heat, which is energy that you're losing through the power supply. This one doesn't do that. So there you go. That's it. That's what I thought I'd show you. My little modification to my Flea trap. It works really, really well. The bulbs last forever. I haven't changed this bulb since I swapped it over from the other ones, and we're talking months. I haven't changed the bulb. And all right, I mean, I wasn't putting this thing on so much through the summertime, and maybe I should have been. So I'll show you that the long bit on these, if you get one of these particular brands, this seems big enough, but then small enough at the same time, so you don't fall in it yourself, but big enough to encourage the flies, flappy things through the summer, you know, because you might leave your windows open. I've not been leaving my windows open. All these fleas have been caught because they're what's in my carpet. They can't get in my furniture because my furniture's leather. And not leather from a cow, leather from a pretend cow. For those that might be worried that a cow was injured for me to sit my butt on. No, it's only when I eat them that they have a problem. All right, so yeah, so it's coming out my carpets. It's coming out from around the edges between the skirting boards and the carpets, wherever fleas go, and they go and hide. It may be encouraged because it's warm enough when you put your heating on. Maybe that could be encouraging eggs to hatch. But this little baby is catching them. These are not able to reproduce. These are not able to bite me, bite my cats, infest anymore, or do anything else. And every time I see a mat like this, it's victory for me over the flea. And you can have the same sort of thing. You don't have to put stuff, you don't have to do the bombs, flea bombs. You don't have to put the chemicals on your cats. If you find out your cat does have fleas, if you can't get them off with the flea comb, you can do maybe one thing of the, you know, the droplets and stuff like that. I'll probably have those companies that make those hating me saying this now. But this is evidence that these work. And I promise you, this is no more than 2 weeks old. In actual fact, you can probably tell if you've used these yourself and left them for a period of time. You'll see all sorts of, you know, because your cats are always molting a little bit. So you'd normally see quite a lot of bits of fur on here. And you can see the odd bits of fur, you know. But yeah, this is no more than 2 weeks old, and that's what I've caught. And that's from a place that I didn't think had any fleas. So there you go. That's my offering for today. And I hope that helps. And I'm going to bring more videos like this. I'll find other bits and pieces, you know, that could be quite helpful to some people, especially if you've got cats and you want to use this sort of stuff. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.